All right, hello. Welcome to Tech Talks with T&E. I am Terry. Here's my wife Elisabeth and my partner. And today we're going to introduce you to Team Salterra, Team Samuels, whatever you want to say. So as of right now, we have Skylar with us. Brandon and Marilyn will be joining us shortly. We're still, obviously have our tasks to do. Anyways, so welcome. Thank you for joining us for our second episode of our weekly podcast. Please take the time to subscribe and click all the buttons and like and share and all that good stuff. And for this one, if you guys have questions for us about anything, if you have questions about the family side of the business or anything like that, please put them in the chats and we'll get them. And it should be a pretty fun one. So a lot of you guys that have been to our events know Brandon, Skylar, and Raylan. But this would be a good time to introduce them all. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll have them back someday. So anyways, Miss Elisabeth, just give us a little history on, there's Brandon, by the way. And now Raylan's joining us. So great. There is the fam. All right. So Elisabeth, tell us a little bit about the history of us. How we got this thing started, how we, kind of brought them, asked them.
Yeah, we pretty much drugged them kicking and screaming. No, I'm just kidding. So when we started this, you were recovering from shoulder surgery. You were heavily medicated. And so going out and getting a traditional job really wasn't the thing. Although you probably could have been a professional Call of Duty player because you were pretty fantastic at that.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2, baby.
What really happened was our church reached out and said, hey, can you help us with our website? And you're like, sure. And of course, being the old HTML guy, that's how you started. It took you a minute kicking and screaming to switch over to WordPress. You asked me for help in the beginning because, graphics are not your jam. And I validate that with my whole entire being. So yes, I did jump in to help with that. You and I kind of did our thing for a while. We've worked closely together in multiple jobs, multiple industries. And so it was kind of a no-brainer for us to work together in this. Literally in the beginning, like our desks were like facing each other in our bedroom and, worked together all day, every day. And then, being married the whole rest of the time. I know Marilyn's popped in and out a couple of times, with what she's wanted to do and be in life. And Skylar has pretty much been with us since the beginning. Brandon had a career in the restaurant industry, which was poppin'. It's very much his personality, but maybe not necessarily the most stable thing. And so, it's always been up to the kids. I don't think we've forced anyone or drug anyone. It's a voluntary thing, but understanding what you get with that, it's not a traditional job. The hours may not be a set, 8 to 4, 9 to 5. Yes, we will talk about work at family dinners and vacations and stuff like that. That's just kind of a given with the nature of the beast. But one of the things we wanted to hear from you is your perspective. I'm sure you guys, when we talk to people at the conference and to our friends, our perspective is different from your perspective. So, obviously our goal is that, we grow this beast into something exponentially profitable for everybody and leave a legacy for you if that's what you want. But I know sometimes, it's tough. It's not easy and it's not always, pretty. So please gloss it over for all the viewers.
Who wants to go first? All right, I'm gonna pick Skylar.
Yeah, I agree. There's probably better opinions out there than mine, but I think I joined the family business because I didn't want to be controlled by someone I didn't really respect. And respected you guys, and I know that there's a lot of freedom in the entrepreneur world, and I valued seeing that with you guys between the real estate company you guys had and when you guys first started this. You guys were able to take the day off if you were sick or go on family vacation, and I think that's just valuable. Being able to live your own life without being restrained to the 8 to 4 or 9 to 5.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's and you were the little story, Skylar. He did try to venture off on his own. Went to Subway. Was going to be a sandwich maker. Probably go to Subway U or whatever it's called. And I don't know. I guess he called his mom a couple hours into the shift, and he came back to Salterra.
I made one sandwich, and the guy told me I forgot to cut his sandwich, and I I didn't want to just deal with that every day. So I was like, I don't want to do this.
Well, for everybody out there, Skylar is incredibly detail oriented. I think it was just the pressure of somebody like watching him. So
yeah,
he's definitely detail oriented. Definitely, he's been buying domains for us since the beginning through auctions, and running the link building side of our company, and just really got really good at that side. He's now coming over more and more to help me on the project management side, and more just getting out of the off page into the whole realm of SEO. Yeah. But it's just been a great working relationship, and seeing him grow through, not just through the company, but obviously through life itself. But it is, it's a testament to, he's stayed with us this whole time through all the ups and downs, and through COVID and all the stuff that, it's, I don't know. I think it's a little bit different when the responsibility for, bills and rents and stuff that life has is, I think it's a lot of pressure on a family business. Obviously it's a lot of pressure on everybody, but it's not like I can lay these guys off and, hey, go pound sand and find something somewhere else. And so, and we've had those.
You come to family dinner on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. And we've had those ups and downs, but we've bounced back and we've done better, and, we're going to continue to do better. And as we grow, we're hoping the kids get more involved. So Elisabeth and I can kind of step away and not worry about, what's happening, who's running stuff, blah, blah, blah. So obviously we have some long-term goals also, but so great response, Skylar. That was awesome. All right, let's go with Miss Maralyn.
I think working for my family, like you guys were saying, it is a different level of responsibility. And the reason that I keep coming back to the family is because I want to leave a family legacy. I want us to, be able to build and grow. And I'd love for, Eric's kids to see everything that we've gone through, what we've been able to accomplish. I want my own kids to be able to see that one day. So having that has been really important. I'm not going to say that it's been the easiest. Obviously, I've come, I've left and I've come back for a variety of different reasons. I think working with your family is complicated, but it can be very beautiful for everything that we get to accomplish, we get to experience, everything. And I have gone corporate and I have left, not as quickly as Skylar, but I agree. I don't like somebody looking over my shoulder. I appreciate the freedom to, if I need to go fix a flat at Discount Tire, I can go at 9 a.m. when nobody's going to be there instead of at 5:30 when everybody's off. It's like little things like that in the day-to-day that I think make a big difference for me.
Awesome. Yeah. So good. I'm sorry, Elisabeth. So.
No, I want to hear Brandon's perspective. I know Brandon.
First of all, who is Maralyn and what does she do with our company? That's you.
Oh, okay. So obviously Maralyn is the oldest girl, and she's third in line from the top. She is our project manager. She has had a couple of different roles. She was a junior developer with me doing a lot of website design, a lot of projects. She's done a really outstanding job. I like how she builds sites, mostly because she builds them how I asked her and how I trained her. She doesn't necessarily go rogue. She listens. She's taken Terry's course, and so she understands a lot of the behind the scenes of SEO and how to structure a site. So that's one of the big things, like our agency is, it's not just, oh, well, here's a pretty website and, let's throw it over to Terry's side and have him fix it and do it. But she knows to integrate a lot of the on page from the beginning. She does a great job, good eye, good visual. She has been raised up to project manager. So she has a team that she oversees and manages, make sure things get done timely and correctly. I think, correctly is the big issue because, when you're managing a team, and especially if it's a team that's not necessarily local and you don't have a central office where you can literally see what they're doing, you have to have a certain level of trust and a certain level of oversight to make sure things are done correctly. And she does a really great job.
100%. And one of the things that I'm impressed with, I just get to listen to things, but her interaction with the clients is really awesome too. So that's always been on us, and it's always one of the things that I actually like talking to the clients and everything, but I don't want to do it all the time. Maybe on a monthly basis or whatever, but not on a every time something gets fixed. And so that's one of the things that that impressed me about Marilyn is her customer service type stuff too. Which that kind of goes into the next person in line is Brandon. So Brandon, tell us about what's going. Tell us about what you and all that stuff and how you deal with us and all that good.
I mean, I love it. It's a different aspect, especially from the bar industry with the micromanaging and all the drunks and all the stuff you got to deal with. But I know I like it. It's different. It's completely different. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's boring because I'm used to fast paced running around. But I love it. I'm learning a lot. That's definitely the plus side, and the people you get to meet and hanging out with the family, constantly talking to them. Gets annoying sometimes, but they're family, so I love them. But no, I love working from home too with the dogs. I don't got to worry about them constantly and all that stuff. So it's a blast.
Yeah, and Brandon's been with us for a while. He's kind of bounced around on the SEO side. He even did web design for a little bit. Right now, he's kind of like in charge of our maps in that area. So he also does some stuff with Go High Level or High Level. And then he's kind of I'm not going to say a jack of all trades, but he's kind of a guy that we can pull in a different direction when we need help in certain areas. So, and that's one of the things too. He's also really good at customer service. So as we grow, we're going to probably move him into some sort of that position. Not necessarily knowing which side of that, but he has actually worked for some of my clients back in the past. And so I got to see him how he interwork with clients for an HVAC company and stuff like that. So that was always impressive to me too. So, but it's just nice to know that, between Brandon and Skylar over on my side, we can kind of meet together. We golf every week. Some of you guys see my posts. It's not all fun and games. A lot of times it's, you're riding with me this week in the cart. We need to talk type of thing. But it is something that we, not only do we like to do that as a hobby, but we can mix and mold the two together. So a lot of times when we take trips, even call them vacations, obviously we talk business. We try not to. I think Elisabeth and I are getting better at that, of not trying to talk, at least with the kids. Elisabeth and I always talk business, but it's, like I said, it's just a different dynamic between, how we go to our day-to-day business. We have our, every Monday morning staff meeting, which is everybody in the company. So, but it gets the time to sit down and figure out, okay, where are you struggling? What are you struggling with? we're constantly testing things. So at least on my side, we're constantly having conversations of new software. Did the software perform well? Do we need to purchase it? All these different variables. We're always constantly trying to find ways, mainly to make us more efficient and automated nowadays. Our processes they don't change very often unless we find something through testing that was really great, that worked well. So, but yeah, like I said, it's I'm glad that you guys got to kind of meet the kids or the staff, whatever we call it. But it is a good dynamic thing that we have built. A lot of people are amazed that we can work together and still have family dinner every Sunday night, and everybody not be at each other's throats. And people fight like everybody else, and our kids fight. And Elizabeth and I just sit there and shake our heads as they grow, and sit there and go, "Man, I wasn't like that when I was there." But anyways,
yeah. If you think back when the kids were little, I don't know that they fight any more now or less now. I would say it's a pretty consistent thing,
I think nowadays.
Forever.
I think nowadays it's more talking smack than fighting. Especially on the golf course and Sunday family dinner. Okay, so I've got a couple questions that people sent me before. One of them is, and this is kind of a given, but one of them is about SEO spring training that we do every year. Our sixth one's coming up May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Mark your calendars. We're getting ready to put that, mark your calendar graphic up there. But are the kids involved in the conference? Well, yes, 100%. If you see us at SEO spring training, they're there. Yeah, they're 100% involved. Not only that, but our other child, Alice, is. And our oldest is not involved in the conference, but he does come around and do things. So again, everything that we do is based around the unit. Okay, so there's no difference of it. When I launched the real estate company, I really had trust issues, still do, about who to trust with what, all that stuff that especially something that happened on a negative. And one of the things I love about this dynamic is I don't have trust issues with these 4 people. So I don't have any trust issues whatsoever. And we're still, when we go to hire things and hire people and stuff like that, we make sure that they're involved in it, because they're either going to be working with or for, either Skylar, Brandon, or Marilyn. So, but the biggest thing, like I said, is this, the trust thing for me was a big step. I'm trying to get better. It's one of those things that, once you've been burned a couple times, you kind of just keep putting your guard up. But the nice thing about the family unit is I have full trust about anything. So, and that's the cool thing. So, all right. Another question is
and speaking on that trust issue, like, you've had business partners that, and everyone has those partner horror stories, and we do look at the kids as a partner in the business, So because we are all working together, we're all pulling together, we're all pulling in the same direction. And so, they're obviously, they can't necessarily take anything and run away, because I'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay. So I have another question here. This one's kind of for Brandon, just because it's around a certain thing. What motivates you every single morning to get up and work at home, work for the family business? Do you ever just not feel like getting up and doing stuff, or is it something that you look forward to doing?
Well, I think the main reason I have to get up in the morning is to take the 2 dogs out. But getting to work, getting motivated is to help the whole family. We're all here to succeed and help each other. And, we all have to put, food on the table and roofs over our heads. So there's really no time to just sit around and let it all come to you. And you got to earn what you work for. Or you got to work for it. Nothing's given to you for free. So,
I can ask the same. I'd be interested in Skylar's response to that, because Skylar's actually been working with us the longest and doing the same thing every single day the longest. I've offered Skylar all kinds of different things to do in the company, and he's just happy where he's at. So, but yeah, so same question to you, Skylar. What motivates you to get up and work every day? And, you don't really get to see the successes like be on the calls and everything. As far as seeing how good we're helping people and stuff like that, you're kind of way behind the scenes on the link building side. So what motivates you every day?
That the results for the companies, helping people grow. And like Brandon said, this isn't something we can just sit around and stand behind a counter on our phone and still get paid. We have to provide results, and we have to grow the company, and each and every one of us need to do our part. There's no slacking off when it's a family business. If you don't do what you're told, or if you don't do what you have to do, everybody starts suffering. And I think that's kind of what gets me going, what keeps me motivated to learn new things and keep providing results for the people that pay us money.
Awesome. Good answer. So what about you, Marilyn, on the web design side? Because I know obviously the web design side is a whole moving target thing. So it's not like you wake up and you have to do the same thing over and over and over again. It's always moving. But what do you think?
I think for me, it's getting projects completed. I really love seeing where we started with something and then being able to provide like the finished result. It can be something as simple as an onboarding form or even a phone conversation in some, scenarios, to being able to present something for, this business owner that they didn't even know that they would love. I think a lot of people have, a certain idea of what the process for designing a website looks like. And I think a lot of people have certain misconceptions about websites in general. So being able to translate their business online beautifully, visually, and effectively, functionally, I think is really huge. And being able to explain also, to the client the importance of having both sides of that equation. It's not just, a pretty picture and a nice logo. Like, this can really work for you. And then being able to say, now here's the part where, we pass it on to another family member of, the next stage, I think is also really cool. It's definitely a point of pride to say, okay, well, you have a phone call scheduled with my dad next week, and he's going to go over, these next steps. I think is really cool. Not everybody gets that opportunity.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I tell people all the time about is one of the big struggles that we have in the SEO side is all the different websites that we have to deal with. So even if you just select WordPress, which we do, we're a WordPress only house. But even at that stage, when you're dealing with all the different themes and all the different ways people build things and all the different things that when you're looking at your processes and you throw in, we're an Avada house, an Avada house. All of our sites are built with Avada. We use the same theme and same plugins on every single website. So we know that website, we know that theme, we know these plugins, we know that once we take on a handoff from Elisabeth and Maryland's side, we know that it's going to be built properly. It's going to have the right foundation and be able to do the things that we need to do now on the marketing side. So I think that's a huge advantage. We do get a lot of people. Obviously, I think we've all seen sites that I just got one yesterday that they want SEO on, and there's no way I'm going to touch this site the way it's currently built. And so that's a big consideration. I've always believed that the website itself, the hub of your business, is the most important thing as far as transacting in your world. And if your website is not dynamic, if it's not ready to convert, if it's not, if it doesn't have the proper pictures in the proper places and look good on mobile, then you're behind the curve already. So, but one of the things that, when we do have this handoff is, the next question, I'll answer it, but then we'll get to Randy's real quick. But the next question I had is, how do you guys do your discovery and onboarding? Well, that's an interesting question. So obviously almost every single SEO client that comes to us or comes to me probably needs some website work done, if not a full rebuild before we even start. So Elizabeth and I have actually started doing this. Is both of us are now on all the discovery calls. So that way, if it's a different discovery call about web design and there's questions that come up about marketing, which is always a phase 2, then we can kind of dynamically, work off each other on that conversation. And then, so when we go through the discovery process and we figure out which kind of bucket they belong into, then now it gets into the proposal side and all that stuff, which Elizabeth and Raylan do their own proposals. And obviously I do my own proposals. Sometimes we'll do a phase 1 and phase 2. If it's a web design project, we'll say, here's the web design cost. And then phase 2, here's the marketing, and here's the marketing cost. But I'm honest with you, I'm getting away from that, because some of these websites, and no fault to Elizabeth's side, some of these websites can take 6 months to a year to build, mainly because the clients are so busy that they just don't have time to go through the design process. Well, that can really affect your price. So if you priced out, $2,000 a month for the marketing, and it's been a year since you gave that price is probably, you still might make some profit, but you cut into your margins quite a bit. So we don't do that anymore. I'll tell them what we do in phase 2, but I'm not going to tell them a price until the website's finished. That's just my own personal thing. So, but it is an interesting question about how we do discoveries, how we do handoffs. People really like, once they realize that we are a family business, they really like that we're a one-stop shop. So we can do it all. So you can do the web design, branding, everything from a complete startup to a multi-billion-dollar company. And then me over on the marketing side, I'm pretty limited to who I accept, but I can pick and choose from Elizabeth's web design portfolio about who I want to talk to and who I don't even tell them about me. So, because there's some things I don't have any desire to do, like, she's doing one for a super expensive kitchen boutique up in Sedona. Well, I'm not sure. I wouldn't know where to start with that with SEO. That's not, somebody's going to have to pay me to learn that niche if I was going to take that on as a client. So I'm not a big believer of jumping into a new niche on the marketing side and wasting people's money, why I learned it or why Skylar or Brandon learns it. We'd rather stick within our boxes that we have. But anyways, pass that over to Elisabeth. What do you onboarding and discovery on your side? How does that work over there, Elisabeth?
So obviously discovery is usually me, because I want to understand it. It's usually the very first point of contact. What is your project? What do you want to do? What are you hoping to accomplish? What have you tried before? Because, if this is like the 5th rebuild of something, what went wrong? Where are we at? Kind of thing. So that's just me getting the particulars so that obviously I can price it out, because a basic informational website is not the same as a 10,000 product e-com store. So we have to look at that, because I have to look at the time, energy, and effort that it's going to take to build it, and again, is this going to be something that is going to be drug out through no particular fault of anyone? Life happens. People are busy running their businesses. And yes, they have the ultimate goal and ideal of having a brand new website, but a lot of people really underestimate what goes into that. When I talk to people about their branding, tell me what you got. You got to have a logo, and they may have something from like 10 years ago that's blurry and pixelated, and they don't even have a vector file of it. It's like, okay, well, we really need to talk about this, because if that's what you consider your branding is just one logo, there's a whole lot more that goes into it, because if you're wanting to compete with other marketing companies that are super savvy as far as these are the images that apply to your brand, these are the colors, this is your messaging, these are your fonts. It's a whole thing entirely. So the discovery call is a little bit about who you are, what you want, what you expect, that kind of thing. Once they decide that they want to work with us, and we go through that process, then I will bring Marilyn involved, because there's no point in her getting involved if somebody's not going to pull the trigger and come on board. It's a waste of her time, energy, and effort because I already know her and she's going to be thinking about how to tackle the project and what this client needs. And I don't want to waste her brain power on something that may not come to fruition. So when we do the onboarding, we have gone back and forth, some with each other and some, on our own. But we are absolutely solidifying that she needs to be involved because she's managing the project. And if I am just relaying information to her and telling her he said, she said, then she's not going to get the full picture. And, with a good onboarding call, she's going to jump in and ask questions so that she understands from her perspective so she can delegate to the team. So, there is a lot involved with it because I can't just take on any random project. Yeah, that would be great. And that's fun, for a minute. But if you look at the logistics of how everything works, it can turn into a nightmare really quick, So that's why we have to absolutely set clear, manageable expectations on both sides. What do you expect from me? What do I expect from you?
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention when you're working with clients, no offense to them, but there needs to be a certain level of handholding, as we go through this process together. And if we don't do this, onboarding form together and I don't get all my questions answered and I don't get all the information regarding your business, it's going to delay getting that project done. I'm not going to be, fully informed and equipped. So we have found, in testing, if, mom and I do the onboarding form together, or she just sends it, or, whatever, it really helps to cut down on project time. If I'm able to set a meeting and just go through it line by line, and sometimes it takes a couple hours, but I have found more often than not, the client is pleasantly surprised at how much we're willing to really deep dive into their business to effectively translate their company, their message, everything about them in an online space.
Exactly. Yep. That's awesome. That's perfect. And because we, on when I'm starting to do onboarding and everything, I mean, some of the biggest questions I love to ask is, why are you calling us now? What changed? Did something happen over the past, month, 2 months, 5 years, whatever? What is the state of your business? Because especially on the marketing side, if your business is in trouble and you still have some money left to build it up, then maybe we need to talk about pay-per-click and not necessarily full-blown SEO. SEO is the tortoise. SEO is the one that takes a while. And if you've got 3 or 4 or 5 months left of your business, we need to be looking at aggressive pay-per-click, very fine-tuned pay-per-click. So there's different conversations that we need to find out on the onboarding calls. And so many times we hear from the clients, wow, I've never been asked that before. Or, I've never seen anybody tell me that before. And, and it's mainly because, we do have a passion for helping people. We're not just I used to call it when we were flipping houses, a carpet and paint company. So, we actually like to dig in. We actually like to fix and remodel and, do the things that your business needs. And we do that. And we've always said, Elisabeth and I have always introduced Salterra as a brand. We build brands, whether that starts from the logo, branding, web design side, or whether it starts from the marketing side. If you're not building a brand and you're not putting brand as the primary focus, you're doing your clients a disservice. So it's all about building the brand, because when somebody doesn't search for, local plumber Dallas anymore, but they know, Terry's plumbing service because my brand's so powerful and out there, then that's going to be a huge advantage to people. So always be working on the brand as you're working on whatever terms and phrases and stuff that you go after. It's just a smart way to do stuff. So, all right. Well, Mr. Randy asked the question, and we get this question a lot, is who is the real boss? Well, and I can kind of tell you, it really depends on where we're at in the conversation and what the conversation is about. And we don't think of either one of us as a boss, but some people's decision, because it affects their side of their business, is more prominent and important than the other side of the business. Now, we do have conversations that affect both sides. And I think for the most part, it's whatever's best. I'm kind of the asshole of the two. I can tell you that right now. I'm the one that can get pretty heated in conversations. Elizabeth's the one that calms everything down. That's why I'm not allowed in a bank anymore. I don't like when people take my money. But the biggest thing is that I think we know we've been working together. We've been married 20 years and we've been together 22 years in 3 different businesses. We know each other's strengths. That's where I think the key is. So she knows where my strengths are. I know where her strengths are. And anything that's kind of 50-50 or something out there, we really work hard to look at the bigger picture. Who's going to benefit on what decision. So I think that's the best way to answer it. Some days Elizabeth's the boss. Some days I consider me the boss, but it depends on what we're working on. It depends on what the situation is. But most of the time, it's just husband and wife talking, working shit out, then moving on. So Elizabeth and I are very good at moving on. So, getting done with stuff. So, all right. So you guys have any questions? Put the questions in here. We love the questions. I have one more for Skylar that somebody gave me. What do you look for when you're looking for a new domain? Is there a certain criteria? Do you go after one auction service? Kind of like what's your strategy? And I can tell you right now, Skylar doesn't buy as many domains as we used to, just because we had so many. We've kind of backed off a little bit to get rid of some. But go ahead, Skylar, answer that question.
Yeah, I don't buy as many as I used to because I used to just buy anyone that had good ratings. It doesn't matter about the niche, and we got away from that because we had like 200 sites that we weren't using at one point, and it was just a waste of money in hosting. But I just look for DA, trust flow, and spam. I don't want a site that has Chinese language all over it and a bunch of spammy backlinks. And the biggest thing is the niche. It needs to be a good domain for the niche. I'm not going to get barista.co for a coffee company because I just don't think that's going to help ranking.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything do you go after? Just speaking of which, do you go after the non.coms, .net? Do you go after the .agency and the .dentist and all these other dots that are out there?
I personally don't. No, I just go for .coms or .cos. I don't really look for .nets or any crazy thing like that.
Cool. Good deal. So, and that's he's very, very good at it. So if I have, and we do it on the affiliate site also, we have quite a few affiliate sites. So I'm getting ready to look at a new affiliate, and the first thing I'll do is I'll have Skylar go out and search the domains that are available. We bought a few expired domains. I'm not a huge fan of expired domains. I know people have good luck with them and do great things with them. I'm not knocking them at all. We just don't do them. But basically I'll just tell them what we're going after, what they're for, and then give them a budget for the domain or domains if we buy multiples. And then that's basically what he does. The last couple of times we've done it though, at least from my side, and he can probably attest to this, is good domains are getting harder to find. That's, and they're getting very, very expensive. So,
very expensive.
Yeah. So, think about your plan if you're going to go down that route. I like buying, auction domains, especially for affiliate sites, especially if you're going to build a site to flip, which is where my thing is now. I like to build sites to flip. But that's one of the things. So, anyways, let me see. Any other questions? Okay. I don't have anything else as questions. Elizabeth, what do you have? Anything that you have?
Well, what do the kids have questions about? Like, I don't know, anything they want to share outside of what we've already discussed?
I don't know that I have any questions per se, but I would say that working with people who speak your language is probably one of our keys to our success. I know you've had other project managers, as well as, Dad has had other employees. But I think at the end of the day, like, it's not a matter of just trust. It's also communication. And I think we all really we know how to talk to one another. We know kind of how to read one another. And I think that really helps the success of our agency.
Can you think of anything that fosters that communication? Like, do you think that family dinners and outings and activities and stuff do feed into that? Like our, team building per se? I
mean, family vacations or team building. Yeah, I definitely think that all of that adds into, I think the more time you spend with anybody, the better you're going to understand them. And I think, we've been a family for, over 20 years, the majority of all of our lives here, as kids. And I think that definitely plays a factor into it.
Awesome.
I would agree. What about you two, boys?
No questions. I'm good.
Brandon is a blank slate.
I'm vibing.
So, anyway, some things that we got coming up. We're going to be our next on-page, our 4th on-page class starts a week from tomorrow. And so if you want to get into that, I think there's a few seats left. I'll be honest with you, I haven't checked the past couple weeks.
There's a couple.
Okay, so we only allow 10 per class. And as a bonus in this class only, we're actually going to I'm going to give you guys my schema course. So I have a schema course that's in pre-sale right now. It's going to drop the 1st of July, I hope. But that's the goal, or maybe before. But the whole idea is that I get asked so many times and so many questions about advanced schema and I've really fought doing a course for a long time. A lot of people that know me, I've been asked to do a course for, who knows how long. But I really didn't want to, because the thing I believe about courses is that courses are kind of give and take. So I have a lot of courses that I've bought that I have not even gone through. I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's a time thing. It's not anything against anything else, and then I've also got courses that really that it might have been good information at the time, but nothing staying updated. So the thing about advanced schema, even though we continually test it all the time, once you do it per this course, you're going to be pretty well off as far as, needing updates and everything else. We are going to have a private Facebook group for everybody that buys the course, and that'll be direct access to me and our testing and everything else. Not the negative thing about testing, and this is not just schema, this is everything, is once you find something that really works, really cool, is going now to implement. So going back to implementing either old sites or change your SOPs to implement it into new sites, whatever. But this Facebook group will be the direct access to me, our team that works on the schema constantly. And it's basically going to teach you not only why you need to have schema, what to put in each type of schema, what to look for that other people don't. It's going to teach you how to put the schema together. I'll show you how I got started, and then that'll make sense about how to build this thing out. Obviously, we're going to be working on some of my templates that have been out there forever. But the biggest thing is that this is going to be a course that you can not only take this course, and this is now your SOP. So if you're an agency and you want to take this course to your 3 or 4 on-page people, or you hire a new on-page person, this is a course you're going to be able to give them. This is the SOP on how you're going to do schema. That's it. I mean, we're not going to get into on-page and the stuff I go through in the class, the siloing and everything else, but it's just schema. So I encourage you to get it before the pre-sale. The pre-sale, I think, is $900 something, $999. But anyways, get it now, because the pre-sale is probably going to end next weekend. I want to make sure that the people that want to get this will get this, because this isn't going to be one of those things that I'm going to pop up and do a course every 3 or 4 months. I don't do these things. So, but I am passionate about schema. I have been for years. And so I figure out not just to teach that in my online class, but hey, let's just do a course about nothing but schema. And so, there's nothing like throughout this. You can see some YouTube videos about schema and stuff like this, but I'm going to teach you what happens in my head when I look at schema, which is pretty scary. So I'm very creative when it comes to schema and how it's used. So get that course. I encourage you to get it before the pre-sale is done. Obviously, you can get it after the pre-sale, but it's going to cost you more money. But yeah, I mean, anything else, ladies and gentlemen on here? Any questions? Anything? Elizabeth, do you have anything?
I don't. I didn't get any questions to me prior to this. So yeah, this will probably be the first one we do not go over on time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, I always said 45 minutes to an hour and 15 is kind of like the sweet spot for, podcasts. So totally fine. We answered the questions that were submitted. If you guys still continue to have questions for anybody that watches this after the fact, just let us know. Elizabeth and I are an open book. So we love this business. We love our business. We love our family. And we love what we've built this thing together. And so once you understand that type of passion, then you kind of understand everything else about us, whether it's SEO University or spring training or whatever. It's all in one big happy pot. So at least today we're happy. Anyway, so thank you everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. Remember, like, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff. We are going to do this every single Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Elizabeth and I. If we need to drag one of the kids back, let us know. We can drag them back for more questions. Totally fine. Otherwise, have a wonderful week and go out and do the right things at the right times. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.